Welcome to the Olive Grove. Today, we are going to be taking a deep dive into Isaiah 54.
Wow, Isaiah 54.
Yeah, it's a chapter that's full of symbolism and imagery.
You can say that again.
And I think it offers a really powerful message of hope and restoration.
Definitely radical hope and lavish abundance.
Definitely. Now, we've got a really interesting source to guide us today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a commentary from the My Christian Space website.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they offer some really insightful perspectives. And one of the things that they highlight right from the start is this intriguing metaphor of a woman representing Israel.
Okay, a woman representing Israel.
Yeah. But here's the thing. She starts off as barren, told to rejoice even though she has no children.
Oh, that's interesting. Right from the get-go, you have this paradox.
Exactly. It's like
Which it grabs your attention.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think, why would a barren woman be told to rejoice?
It's not just about physical children, though, right?
It's about something much deeper.
It's about God's faithfulness to his covenant, even when his people have been anything but faithful.
You know, I was thinking about that. Like, even in those times when we feel barren, spiritually speaking, like maybe we're far from God or we haven't seen the fruit we hoped for.
Yeah.
This is a powerful reminder that his promise remains.
Absolutely. It's like he's saying, get ready to celebrate because I'm about to do something incredible.
Wow.
Even if it seems impossible right now.
And that's where the detail about enlarging the tent comes in, right?
That's a good point.
My Christian Space commentary points out that enlarge your tent isn't just about extra space for all those future children.
Okay.
They connect it to Israel's future expansion in the last days.
In the last days.
Which raises all sorts of questions, you know?
Yeah. How will this expansion happen? What does it mean for Israel today?
Exactly. And what about other interpretations of this prophecy?
Right. It gets really interesting when you start to connect these ancient words to current events.
It does. So we've got this barren woman about to experience an unexpected boom, both in terms of family and territory.
A boom.
Yeah. But then the text takes another turn. We move from barrenness to shame in verses 3 and 4.
Oh, to shame.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember the historical context here.
Definitely.
Israel had turned away from God, faced exile, suffered greatly.
There was a collective sense of shame, like being abandoned, even cursed.
But then there's this incredible shift that God promises to redeem and expand Israel.
Expand.
Fulfilling the covenant he made with Abraham's descendants, like stars land as far as the eye can see.
It's not just about physical restoration, though, is it?
No, it's about so much more than that.
It's about reclaiming their identity, their purpose, their rightful place as God's chosen people.
Imagine the emotional and spiritual impact of that shift from shame to unimaginable honor.
That's powerful.
And, you know, before we dive deeper into this promise of restoration, I want to take a quick pause and encourage you, our listener, to check out My Christian Space.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a fantastic online community where you can explore these ideas, further connect with other believers, and find resources to deepen your faith.
Definitely worth checking out.
And while we're talking about resources, it's worth mentioning that My Christian Space is part of Enduring Freedom Ministries.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a group doing some amazing work to support the people of Israel in practical ways.
Practical ways? Like what?
Well, one of their current goals is to establish a food pantry in Jerusalem.
A food pantry in Jerusalem.
Which is, you know, a pretty powerful way to address real needs while embodying this message of hope and restoration we're talking about.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. If you're feeling led to be a part of that effort, we'll provide all the details in the show notes.
Awesome.
But now let's jump back into Isaiah 54. We've got barrenness turning to abundance, shame turning to honor. And now in verses 5 and 6, God really doubles down on his commitment to Israel.
Doubles down.
He calls himself your maker, the Holy One of Israel, Redeemer, and God of all the earth. It's like he's pulling out all the stops to emphasize his power, his faithfulness, his complete and total authority.
And then you have that striking analogy of a rejected wife being taken aback.
Right. What's going on there?
It's an image that really drives home the depth of God's love.
Yeah.
Imagine a woman abandoned, cast aside. It would be devastating.
Devastating.
But here's God saying, despite everything, despite your shortcomings, I'm taking you back. I'm choosing you.
Wow. And you know, that speaks to something so universal.
Totally.
We've all messed up relationships, felt the sting of rejection.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's this message, this picture of God saying, my love is stronger than your mistakes. Come back to me.
It's incredible.
It makes me wonder, how does that picture of being taken back, fully embraced despite our flaws, how does that change the way we view ourselves?
Hmm.
How does it impact our relationship with God?
It's something worth pondering.
It really is. And, this whole idea of God's unwavering love leads us into the next section of Isaiah 54, where the promises get even bolder.
Yeah.
But we'll unpack that after a quick.
It's a quick break.
Just kidding. We're diving right in. Verses 7 and 8. Talk about a flood, but not the kind you'd expect.
Not a destructive flood like Noah's time.
Right. This isn't about judgment and destruction.
Yeah.
It's about a flood of God's anger that has receded, never to return.
Okay.
He's drawing a parallel to that ultimate act of judgment, that wiping the slate clean moment and saying, I'm not going to do that to you again. My wrath has passed.
And then he follows it up with that incredible phrase, my steadfast love will not depart from you, and my covenant of peace will not be removed.
It's like he knows how prone we are to fear, to doubt, to wonder if we've pushed too far.
Yeah.
So he lays it out there plain and simple. This
Yeah.
love, this peace, it's not going anywhere. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
So we've got this incredible foundation of God's unwavering commitment, this promise that even his anger has limits when it comes to his people. But then in verse 9, there's this interesting comparison to the days of Noah.
The days of
Oh.
Noah. Okay.
And it's not just about the flood receding. It's about the covenant God made with Noah, that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood.
Right.
And here he's applying that same principle of faithfulness to his covenant with Israel.
So it's like he's taking this universal promise
Yeah.
and making it personal.
Saying to Israel, just like I kept my word to Noah and the whole world, I'm keeping my word to you. You can count on it.
I like that. And I think there's something in that for all of us.
Absolutely.
We can look at the rainbow, that symbol of God's faithfulness to Noah,
Yeah.
and remember that his promises apply to us too.
That he's a covenant-keeping God.
Yeah.
And that should give us incredible confidence no matter what we're facing.
No matter what we're facing. It's amazing how these ancient stories, these seemingly distant events,
Yeah.
can have such personal relevance for us today.
Absolutely. And that's what we're all about here on the Olive Grove, connecting those dots, uncovering the layers of meaning, and finding the truths that speak to our hearts and lives today.
Speaking of uncovering layers, things are about to get pretty glamorous in the next few verses. We're talking precious stones, dazzling architecture. It's like stepping into a divine jewelry box. But we'll save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Olive Grove.
Yeah.
We're continuing our deep dive into Isaiah 54.
We are, and it's a chapter that just keeps giving, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like every verse reveals a new layer of hope and promise.
I know. And we're about to step into a scene that's like straight out of a Divine Palace makeover show.
Okay, a Divine Palace makeover show. I like that.
Verse 11 sets the stage. O afflicted one, tossed with tempest and not comforted, behold, I am setting your stones in antimony and laying your foundations with sapphire.
Antimony sapphires. Wait a minute, I'm getting some serious bling vibes here.
Right.
But what's the significance of these materials?
Well, imagine you're in ancient Israel. These stones, especially sapphires, were incredibly rare and valuable,
Okay.
symbols of royalty, strength, and divine beauty. They weren't just pretty rocks. They represented something truly special.
So it's not just about God making things look nice.
No,
It's about the value he places on Israel, even after all they've been through.
exactly. He's saying you're not just getting a fixer-upper, you're getting a palace fit for a king because that's how precious you are to me.
And it gets even better, right? Verse 12 talks about making your pinnacles of rubies, your gates of crystals, and all your wall of precious stones.
The complete transformation from a storm-ravaged state to a city radiating with splendor.
I'm picturing those gleaming gates, the sunlight hitting the rubies and crystals. It's almost overwhelming.
It's a powerful image.
But amidst all this grandeur, there's a line that stands out to me. All your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children.
That's crucial. It's not just about external beauty, it's about internal transformation as well.
Okay.
A flourishing that comes from knowing God intimately.
True peace and security are rooted in understanding God's ways and aligning our lives with his truth.
You got it. It's
Okay.
not just about having a fancy palace to live in, it's about having a deep personal relationship with the architect.
That's where real peace comes from, right?
Yeah.
But even in this picture of idyllic restoration, there's a hint of realism.
Oh, yeah.
Verse 13 says, In righteousness you shall be established. You shall be far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you.
Yeah, it acknowledges that even in this state of blessing, there might still be challenges, fears that try to creep in.
But God offers this incredible reassurance.
No more.
He says, No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall confute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication from me declares the Lord.
Wow. He's saying, I've got your back, I'm your defender, and no one can stand against my power.
It's like having a divine shield deflecting every attack.
And remember, God is the one who creates both the craftsman and the destroyer.
Right, he's in control of it all.
So even when it seems like the enemy is winning or chaos is reigning, God is still the ultimate authority working things out according to his plan.
It's a powerful reminder to trust in his sovereignty, even when we can't see the whole picture. But this idea of God being our defender isn't just about physical protection.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to those internal battles, too.
Absolutely. We all face fears, doubts, temptations that try to derail us, make us question God's goodness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this passage reminds us that God is fighting for us on that level, too.
He is.
He's our shield against spiritual attacks, the one who empowers us to stand firm against the enemy's lies.
And that's what makes this chapter so powerful.
Yeah.
It speaks to the whole human experience, the longing for security, for peace, for a future free from fear.
And it offers this incredible hope, grounded not in wishful thinking, but in the character of God himself.
It really is remarkable, and it's a perfect example of what we're trying to do here on the Olive Grove.
What's that?
Taking these ancient texts, peeling back the layers, and discovering the truths that resonate with our lives today.
Speaking of peeling back layers, we've only scratched the surface of what Isaiah 54 has to offer.
They have.
There's still so much more to unpack, more beauty to uncover, more promises to explore. So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll delve even deeper into the heart of this incredible chapter.
So we're back, and, we're wrapping up our deep dive into Isaiah 54.
Isaiah 54.
Yeah. And this chapter has been like a whirlwind of emotions.
Really?
We've gone from barrenness to abundance, from shame to honor,
Right.
from fear to this incredible sense of security and hope.
Yeah, I think what strikes me most is how this chapter speaks so directly to our deepest longings.
It's like even though it was written thousands of years ago,
Thousands of years ago.
it still resonates with us today.
Totally. It's like that longing for peace.
Right, for security, for a future free from fear.
It's universal.
And here in Isaiah 54, we find this promise that those longings aren't just wishful thinking.
Okay.
They're rooted in the very character of God.
In the character of God.
Yeah. And I think one of the most powerful expressions of that promise
Yeah.
is found in the imagery of Israel's restoration.
Oh, the rest. Remember those stunning descriptions we talked about?
Refresh my memory.
Foundations of sapphires, gates of crystals, walls adorned with precious stones.
Oh, yeah. Like stepping into a divine jewelry box.
Exactly. But it's more than just surface-level beauty, right?
Right.
What's the deeper meaning behind all this architectural splendor?
Well, remember, those precious stones were symbols of royalty, strength, and divine beauty. So when God promises to rebuild Israel with these materials, it's a statement about the value he places on his people.
Even after all they've been through.
Even after all they've been through.
He's saying you're not just getting a fixer-upper.
Okay.
You're getting a palace fit for a king.
Oh.
Because that's how precious you are to me.
Precious.
And it's not just about the external makeover.
No.
It's about internal transformation as well.
What do you mean?
Remember that line, all your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children.
Oh, yeah.
That speaks to a deeper spiritual renewal, a flourishing that comes from knowing God intimately.
So true peace and security aren't found in external circumstances
No.
or material possessions.
Right. It's about having that unshakable foundation of knowing God,
Okay.
understanding his ways, and aligning our lives with his truth.
That's where real peace comes from.
That's where real peace comes from.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the message of Isaiah 54 so relevant for us today.
How so?
It reminds us that no matter what storms we're facing,
Right.
no matter how broken or lost we may feel,
Yeah.
God's love is always there,
Always there.
beckoning us to draw near, to embrace his grace, and to allow him to rebuild and restore our lives.
That's a powerful reminder.
It is that even amidst the chaos and uncertainty of life,
Yeah.
there's this incredible hope,
Incredible hope.
grounded not in wishful thinking,
Okay.
but in the unchanging character of God himself.
He is the architect of our lives.
He is,
Yeah.
and he's committed to making all things new.
It's no coincidence that we're talking about this message of hope and restoration in the context of the olive grove. The olive tree itself is a symbol of resilience,
Yeah.
renewal, and abundance.
It's a beautiful reminder that even after the harshest winters, there's always the promise of new life, new growth, and a bountiful harvest.
And speaking of harvests, I want to circle back to the work that Enduring Freedom Ministries is doing
Oh, yeah.
to provide for those in need in Jerusalem.
Their vision to establish a food pantry is such a tangible expression of God's love and compassion.
It is a way to bring real hope and practical support to those who are struggling.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're feeling led to support that effort,
Okay.
you can find all the details on our website.
Perfect.
Every donation, no matter how small, makes a difference.
Every donation.
And together we can be a part of bringing God's blessings to others.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Isaiah 54,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
A challenge to carry the message of this chapter with you. Remember, you are precious in God's sight. He sees you. He loves you.
And He's committed to restoring and rebuilding your life brick by precious brick.
Brick by precious brick.
It's been an amazing journey exploring this chapter with you. And we hope it sparked a deeper understanding of God's incredible love and His unwavering commitment to His people. Don't forget to subscribe to the Olive Grove Podcast on YouTube and visit the My Christian Space website for early access to future episodes. Until next time, we be filled with the peace and hope that only God can provide.